Hey everyone, Samuel here again. In 2026, your Flutter app needs to look perfect on a tiny phone, a folding tablet, a desktop window, and even on web, all from one code base, of course. And that's the purpose of Flutter, because we can build, we can use a single code base to build for all these platforms. And even in today's world, where we have different screen sizes. I mean, when it comes to devices, even talking about just normal Android phone, we have different Android phones now. Not even talking about the foldable ones, just normal Android phone. We have some that have button. Different notification area style and different device sizes. Talk less of foldable phones. We have different screen sizes. We also have tablets. Now talk to going to iOS. We have iPhone with different screen sizes as well. We have iPad as well. We have desktop application where we have macOS, Linux, and Windows. We also have web. All of these have different screen sizes, and nothing kills users experience faster than a layer that breaks on different screen sizes. So that's what we'll be dealing with today. So today we are doing a complete how-to. So we'll be building a full responsive UI using MediaQuery, LayoutBuilder, Breakpoints, and the best scaling tricks in 2026, of course. So by the end of this video, you have a clean, professional dashboard that automatically adapts everywhere. Just a disclaimer, I will not be building the UI. Basically, we'll be going through all the concepts. So the concept of building a professional dashboard that adapts everywhere. So that's what I'll just reiterate in all the concepts that you need to do. So with this, once you have this knowledge, you'll be able to implement this on your personal project or any project whatsoever that you're working on. So that's the purpose of this video. All right, so first thing first that we need to understand, as you can see, I'm on the Flutter documentation here now. First thing you need to understand is responsive design and adaptive design. So we have to actually know what the difference is here. So when we talk about responsive design, you can see also here in the Flutter documentation, they say what is responsive as adaptive. Just a little bit of more explanation. The documentation as well. So an easy way to think about it is that responsive design is about fitting the UI into space, and adaptive design is about UI being usable in the space. So basically, responsive design is about fitting the UI into the available spaces. The layout scales, reflows, and rearrange as the screen size or orientation changes. Basically, when normal device, we have portrait mode and landscape mode. So that's different screen orientation. So when the screen orientation change or the size even change, the UI adapt to that particular change. So basically, it fits the UI into that change. And when we talk about adaptive, it's about selecting different UI pattern depending on the device screen. For example, now using a side panel on desktop, on desktop now, this is a window. This is a website. So we have this what's it called, side panel. On mobile now, we won't have this side panel. We have like a bottom navigation basically, or a drawer basically. So that's like adaptive design. So it's on adaptive design, the UI we adapt based on the screen size. So bottom navigation on mobile, so the UI basically adapt to the context of use. So that's different between adaptive design and responsive design. So in 2026, with impeller default and high refresh screen everywhere, user expects smooth adaptation, no overflow, no tiny text, no broken layers basically. And the two weapon we will use most is MediaQuery. So basically, I believe we all should be familiar with MediaQuery. So we use MediaQuery to get the screen size, orientation, padding as well. The second weapon that we'll be using is LayoutBuilder, so to get exact content of parent widget basically. So these are built-in. They are built-in widgets. Zero dependencies are required, and still the foundation of building a responsive and adaptive design in Flutter basically. So to do that now, I already built I just create this new Flutter app. Nothing, you can see that it's just a normal Flutter app, but just to get the MediaQuery layout now, so we can just create 3 layouts. We can just create screen width and screen height, and also its landscape. We can check if the orientation of the app basically. So to do that now, let's just create a variable. So we can just say let's call this one screen width, like that. We have the MediaQuery to get the width of the width size of the device basically. Then we can have for height as well. So this is for height. Then we can have for orientation basically. so we can just set it as both. So this one we just check if it is landscape or not. So we can say is landscape. So its landscape should be equal to MediaQuery. So MediaQuery, sorry, okay, MediaQuery of context. Yeah, this is what I want. So MediaQuery of context, then orientation is equal to orientation landscape. So if it is landscape, it will be true. If it's not landscape, it will be false. So with this, we can use this to build what's it called, the UI, and this is the foundation of building a responsive UI basically, and even adaptive design basically. So with this now I can create a container. So let me just create a container under this container like this. Sorry, close this. So instead of a container now we can set height basically. Or let me just accept this since we are dealing with this. So basically, as you can see, we are calling this particular variable that we create here, which is screen width, and we are multiplying by 0.8. that is just getting the 80% of the screen. So 80%, I mean, we are containing, we are giving the size of the container 80% of the screen. So no matter the size, like for example, if I change the screen size to landscape now, yeah, as you can see, it's contain 80% of the screen. For example, now if I should do the manual with that, I just want to do, let's say 400 like this. Let me comment this. You can see how the size is. If let me return it back to the normal size that it was. So you can see the 400 on the portrait mode, it's fill up the screen, but on landscape mode is not filling up the screen. But if you want the stuff to actually fill a particular screen width, then we can go with this flow, which is just getting the 80% of the screen size. No matter the screen size, it will be the percentage that we want. So that's one of the key feature that you need to note when it comes to building responsive design. So MediaQuery still works magic and is still the foundation of building responsive design basically. So we have done this now for height as well. We just did 50. We can change this one as well to contain, let's just say screen to contain 10% of the screen. So as you can see, 10% of the screen. So this one we just contain, we can increase it, let's say 25, as you can see. So that's 25% of the screen basically. So that's how it works basically. So with this, no matter the screen size, it will just adapt. For example, now you can see that on portrait mode, the height is the height size is bigger than the landscape, I mean the width rather. So if I change it to, let me just rotate it again, as you can see the height has reduced. Unlike before, if you set the height to, let's say 400, and on portrait the height works fine, but on landscape it will cause overflow error. So you can see how it adapts to the screen orientation. So that's one of the magic of MediaQuery and how it works. So basically, and you can use, as you can see, screen width is a double value, so a double data type. So you can use any value basically. This multiplication basically getting the 80% of the screen. You can use minus, let's say minus 200 or 300 like this, minus 300 of the screen, whatsoever, any figure you want to get basically, you can get it with that. So that's the basic part of MediaQuery. So now let me rotate this back again so we can go back to the normal. All right, yeah, we are good. So the next thing now is we can detect if the device is on landscape mode or portrait mode, whichever mode. So with this we can decide what we want to present to the user. So you can see we already have is landscape or not. So this we can just come here now inside our under here. Let me just say just create if. So let me say it's landscape. So it's landscape. Let me just use this. All right, it's landscape now. So if it's landscape, we are displaying this container. Then else, let's just use else. Sorry, else. Then yeah, so else portrait mode. So this, as you can see, portrait mode, this is portrait mode. Let me just comment this out so we can just have one. So portrait mode, let me even Okay, portrait mode. This is portrait mode basically. So if it's landscape, it will return this. If it is portrait, it will return this. So these are the basic foundation of responsive design. These are just knowledge. Some things that you need to know. So when you are building your own project, you can just adapt it. You can just implement it any way you want it basically. So if I change this now, you can see how the design changed to landscape mode. So that is one of the best way to actually build a responsive design. So you can dictate, you have the full power on how your screen should look like on any device size or orientation whatsoever. So that is that about when it comes to orientation and all. So the next thing now, going beyond the basic, we go through the advanced parts, which we talked about earlier, which is layout builder and some breakpoints basically. So we'll be using layout soon. So let me return this. Okay, so the core Flutter layout widget for responsive UI, as we all know, Flutter provides many foundational widgets for layout when used well. So basically, we all know container widgets, we have SizedBox, basically, and different other widgets, but the major ones that we use mostly is container and SizedBox. SizedBox to occupy space with a child widget. It does not have any other property. It does not have design with decoration property basically, unlike container that has different properties that we can use to design a particular widget. But the SizedBox is just space, so you can just declare size, height and width whatsoever we want on SizedBox. So that's basically. So now when we talk about SizedBox, now the height that we already defined, this is an example of it basically, and what we already explained about the adaptive the what's it called, the responsive design. So now going forward, now we can now test row and column. So before we even move to the advanced parts, now we can go to row and column just to test most of the widgets we deal with every day, every instance in our Flutter project. So now when we talk about row and column, so we all know that your row and column, they arrange their children horizontally and vertically. Row arranges children horizontally, that is left to right, while column arranges children vertically, top to bottom basically. So note that row gives infinite or horizontal space subject to parent constraint. So children must undo sizing or else overflow will occur. So basically what I'm trying to say is that in row, unlike column, that you don't need to specify a size, it will just continue to expand based on the value that is inside the children. So unlike that, for a row you have to specify a size, because row is horizontal, so the widget is moving horizontally, so you have to specify a size, otherwise there will be an overflow. So when you use a row or column, Flutter tries to give them as much space as possible alongside their main axis alignment for horizontal and vertical for column. So basically now, as much space as possible along their main axis basically, and that's why we use expanded widgets, flexible or SizedBox basically. So I'm sure you have used expanded before. So expanded, let's just we have expanded. Let me just create a comment. We have expanded, we have flexible, or also SizedBox basically. So SizedBox like that. So yeah, expanded, we just explain expanded basically. So expanded force its child to fill remaining space in a row or column basically. So expanded, if we are using expanded, for example, if I create a row now, so let me just create a row. So let me say children, so let me say expanded, okay, child, wait, alright, okay, expanded child, then let me say just say container, sorry, container, let's say color the blue like that. Okay, it should be expanded. It should be A. All right. So now let me create another widget. Let me just say container colors dot okay, let me say color dot red, like that. So you can see I'm coming. Let me all right, so you can see the container now for the first container, which is blue, how it occupy the space until this particular container specify another space that you want to occupy. So if there's no container here, it will occupy all the space. If you open another container and we specify the space that you want to occupy, so this particular expanded widget will occupy the remaining space that is left inside the screen size, basically. So that's expanded, so it forces its children to fill the remaining space in a row or column. So that's basically it worked. Then we have flexible. So flexible gives its child flexibility. It may shrink or grow but not forcibly fill the remaining space, basically. So we can change this one to flexible now. So to see, as you can see, it did not force the space, and the space we already specified, that's what it actually gave the child, basically, unlike expanded. So expanded basically fill the remaining space, while flexible just use the space that has been specified, basically. So that's the true widget, and that's one of the most important widgets one of the most common widgets, even if not the most common widgets. Aside text, we use container, we use row, column in almost every screen that we are building in Flutter. So now next to the advanced widget that I mentioned earlier, the layout builder. So the layout builder basically gives you the parent widget constraints, the max width, the max height, and also allow you to rebuild UI accordingly. So when we talk about layout builder, so I will just create a layout builder here now. So let me just say layout. So as you can see, layout builder. So we have the builder function here. So we can just say const and constraint, like that. Let me just write it. So we can leave it like this. So here now we can now create we can check for different screen sizes as well. So here, this is where we can build desktop layouts, we can build tablet layouts, we can build mobile layouts as well. So here now, sorry, let me close this. So we can just say, so we can check this some what's it called, screen sizes for different layouts. Like desktop now, the conventional size is 1024, that's 124, 8024. We have for tablet 600, and the remaining size for mobile, basically. So we can say if what's the variable name again? Let me just copy. So if variable name dot max width, so it should be width now, right? Max width. I'm making a mistake. Sorry. Okay. Max width. So max width is greater than or equal to 1024. Then we can say return. Let's say just return text. This is desktop layout. As you can see, that's desktop layout. Then return mobile layout. So this is a perfect. Okay, let me add curly bracket so it can. Yeah, all right. So this is desktop layout, this is tablet layout, and this is mobile layout. So with this, in your entry point of your application, inside just your material app, you can specify the layout. So depending on that, you can return the screen size or the screen design based on this particular layout builder that we have here. So we can design for our desktop. Our desktop can have a side panel, whereas our mobile can just have a drawer or just bottom navigation bar. Basically, we have tablet as well that have 600 screen width, basically, and we have our normal mobile size. So we can return different layouts using layouts builder widget in Flutter. So with this, we can able to build adaptive design which scale based on the context that the application is running on, basically. So I will show you I will show you three separate widgets now. So basically this is like the layout and the breakpoint. So this is LayoutBuilder and this is the breakpoint. So the breakpoint for desktop, this is it. The breakpoint for Windows, I mean for tablets rather, this is it. And the layout for mobile layout is the other condition. So basically the tablet also works as I believe some folding tablets also have tablet size, so you can as well develop for like all this food with this tablet layout basically. So with this we have everything that is needed for our screen to adapt to any screen sizes. So another thing now is when it comes to responsive typography, I mean when it comes to text sizes, I mean on your device you can change the size of your text. You can increase this font size, I mean the font size, or reduce the font size. So that's for application that adapt to the application team, you know, on your device now. I mean on your OS, on your device basically, I mean your phone, you can change let's say the theme, probably dark mode or light mode, and some app that you have on the phone we adapt to that system theme that you have on your phone basic. And also when it comes to the font, it will adapt. You can check WhatsApp out, you see how WhatsApp function. If you change the font style of your phone, WhatsApp will automatically adapt to the font style. If you change the theme from dark mode to light mode, I'm just using WhatsApp as an example, so you can see how the application actually adapt to the setting of your phone. Same thing when we can as well achieve that in Flutter when we talk about typography, image and assets now. So in image assets, we all know that we have something we call fit, which is box fit dot cover dot fill dot what else, I think yeah, let me just quickly check. So we have the image, so let's just call image asset and just put this. So inside image assets now we have sorry, okay, let me just close this so we won't get this error. All right, thank you. So yeah, fit. So we have box fit, contain. So we have cover, we have contain, cover, fill height, fill width, scale down, basically. So this is just like the responsive that the UI, I mean the image, should actually fill. So another one we have is using aspect ratio or even fractional size. So this is to keep the image, I mean the image proportional. So we can wrap this around. So let me say cover now. So we can wrap this around let's say aspect ratio. Okay, so inside our aspect ratio now we have the aspect ratio where we cannot declare the aspect ratio of the device. So the default is 16:9, so we can just say aspect ratio is equal to 16 divided by 9. So with that it will cover up the size of the screen basically. So we can change the aspect ratio based on our preference basically. So that's that. And as well for this expanded and flexible that I mentioned earlier, we also have a particular widget that we can specify the flex. So let's say flex, let's say 3, like that. So let's say flex 3 like that. For expanded now, for example, if we also specify flex for this container and we say flex 1, so let's just do that flexible. So let's say flex, flexible, then let's say flex, let's just say 1 for this one. So that's that. You can see that it still remains the same size, but when it comes to expanded, and as I mentioned earlier, expanded fill up the space, I mean any available space basically. So I change this to expanded now, as you can see, fill up the space. So if I change this to expanded as well, it still remains because that's 1%. So let me change this to 2. So you can see that it's already occupied the space to the 1/3 of the screen basically. So that's flex when it comes to expanded and flexible basically. So now going to the advanced tool and packages we can use for adaptive and responsive design. So one of the package that is out there is Flutter screen utility. So it has been around for a while, for a while now, and is one of the best package when it comes to adapting screen and font size that I mentioned earlier, depending on the device settings basically. So this Flutter plugin for adapting screen for font size lets your UI design be a reasonable layout on different screens, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. So basically, to use Flutter screen utilities, let's just install it. So we can just go through the installation, the setup basically. So let me go to my dependency. So I will just install it. Let me run Flutter pub get. Yeah, okay, let me clean this. Flutter pub get. Okay, so it's done. All right, so now inside, since we already installed the package, we go through the documentation, and to set it up you have to initialize ScreenUtils inside your material. So you can see the utilities, then specifying the screen size, which is 360 by 690 by default. That is the design size of mobile device. So for any screen size basically. So we can also specify some other parameters that we have in this particular package. So to do that, now let's just go to our material app. Yeah, so we can just say wrap with widgets. So yeah, I can just call screen until like this. All right, so no, I think we got it wrong. Let me just copy init and then add init. So all right, so that's cool. So inside the Flutter screen init now, as I mentioned earlier, we can now specify the design size. So basically size, which is 360 by 690. Then the minimum, I think the minimum text adapt, which is true. Set this to true. The next, let's close this. Then the next is we can also say split screen mode. So let's say this to true as well, and I think we are good to go. The next, let me just check the documentation. Yeah, we're good to go. So instead of just using child, we can just return home basically. So the child will be the home page. So yeah, so let's just say builder. So it will be this. So to just return material app. So let me copy this. Return material app. So the child. So you can see the child. So this is the child of the builder. So basically it's returning this child. So you can just specify this child, then we can declare the child inside this child parameter. So that's how it works. So here now we can just say child, which is this. If I change this to something else, you can see. Let me just change it to home so you can understand. So let's say home like this. So inside our child now we just return this basically. So we can see, so we are returning to home basically. So let me restart the app so we can be able to like see some of the changes. So now in screen utility, we can now use the parameter basically to adapt to the screen. So one of the API of this particular class is using the screen width, the height, the padding, the radius, and some other function that it has inbuilt. So this is it. So to use the width now, we can just use the size, then .w for height.h, for radius .r, for space, adapter font sp, and so on and so forth. So we have different function that we can call with Flutter screen utils. So with that now I can come here now inside this my let me just quickly go. Yeah, inside this my screen size now, instead of just using size 20, I can now say size .h. So .h, basically I have to remove this const because it's not constant anymore, it can change. So .h now. So depending on the screen size, I will change to the screen orientation to landscape so you can see the difference as well. So let me change this as well to .h. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, let me create something else so we can see. Let me just comment this part out. So let me create something simple so you can just see. Let me just say container. Let me say height should be 100 .h, width should be 200 .w, and say color the red. Yeah, so let's just leave it like that. So now as the screen changes, it will automatically adapt to the screen. So if I let me just give this guy a style. Let me say text style and say font style. So the font style now, let me just change it to 12.sp. So I'll have to remove this const. Alright, so this font.sp now, as you can see, the font size is this. If I go to this iPhone settings, let me see if I can actually go to the iPhone settings and increase the settings of this device. So let me go to the settings now. Settings, let me see if I can actually see the settings so you can see what I'm talking about the font settings. I can't really remember where iPhone. Okay, this is it. Here's the screen size. And that's it. Okay, let me check. Alright, so this is the screen size. Let me go back to this app. As you can see that the screen, the text has increased depending on the specified size of the font settings, basically. So that is what you're talking about when we talk about screen. So with this we can set different API. Use different function. Using .h, .sp for font size, .w for width, and different usage like that. With this, it will be easy for us to actually use for adaptive screen and also responsive builder. So basically, alright, so in summary, these are the best practices and performance consideration when it comes to building Flutter app for all screen sizes. So the first point is break widget into smaller reusable widgets. If you check my video out on performance optimization, the link will be down below. You can I explain how to actually optimize a Flutter app for it to perform well on different devices, even with lower refresh rate, basically. So break widgets into smaller reusable widgets. With that, it will be easy to actually adapt the UI to different script sizes. This will improve the maintainability and reuse, basically. So the next point is start building from inside out. So we start from the small component and move outward rather than imposing outer container constraint fence. So start from the inside out, that is just build what you are starting with, basically, instead of just building something outrageous. Start with the small component, the small layer of the design. Then the next thing is device constraint. Make use of expanded and flexible so as to constrain, to fill up the space where necessary. So the next point is avoid size. Avoid fixed size where necessary, like how we have this container that we don't have a fixed size. We only set the size based on the screen size. So avoid setting a fixed size when necessary, because when you set a fixed size on different design, it will throw overflow when the screen size cannot actually contain the size that is fixed basically. So avoid fixed size where necessary. So the next thing is avoid relying solemnly on screen size or orientation as well. So use constraints inside device type check as well. So avoid relying solemnly on what's it called, MediaQuery screen size. Basically use LayoutBuilder, use constraints basically to fill up the space on the device as well. So the next thing is, when it comes to performance, I touched that in my performance video. Make use of const widget to what's it called, to help with your performance. So basically, so the next is to avoid overflow and other thing. Make use of flexible, and as well make use of, you can as well make use of this Flutter ScreenUtils package as well. So with this, we have come to the end of this video. Just a quick pause. I launched my free newsletter a few days ago. The link will be in the description. Basically, the newsletter is for tips. So I'll be sending weekly tips just once a week. I won't be spamming you with mails. So just once a week to be filled up tips, new release probably in Flutter world or even in tech generally, any new solution that I come across, and any new thing basically, and probably some career updates or some new courses that I'm working on, any new stuff that I'm working on basically, career wise, software engineering, Flutter, AI and the likes. So I'll be sending it out weekly. I don't know any specific dates in mind yet, but basically once a week, just to start with that. So make sure you join the newsletter. The link will be in the description. You can drop a comment in the comment section in this video, then I will reply you with the link of the newsletter. Basically TechWithSam/newsletter. So with that, we have come to the end of this video. So you now have everything to build beautiful responsive UI that works everywhere without necessarily having a fixed size for all your widgets basically. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know if you have any other package or any other method of building responsive UI and adaptive UI. I would love to read your comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.